What's up, guys? Welcome back. Soup season continues, and today we're making one of my all-time favorites. Back in the day, I used to eat at Panera all the time, probably because I thought it was healthy. Now that I'm a little older, I don't necessarily love it the way that I used to, but one thing I still love is their broccoli and cheddar soup. And today I'm going to show you how to make it at home. Meet me in the kitchen. Let's make it happen.
I love cheddar broccoli soup. Yeah.
The texture perfect.
It's perfect. The cheese, you get the cheese
ratio.
But it's not cheesy.
Yeah, it's not like overpowering.
Yeah.
Let me one more of those. Come on, bruh.
All right, guys, you can't have broccoli and cheddar soup without the cheddar, right? So we're going to go ahead and grate our own cheddar. One of the things that I don't like about some broccoli and cheddar soups that you get out in the world is that it can be a little bit gritty. And a lot of that comes from the anti-caking agents that the store-bought shredded cheese has that prevent it from clumping up in the bag. It also prevents cheese from melting nicely. That gives it that kind of grittiness that you might taste in soups or mac and cheese, any kind of cheese sauce. So that's why I like to grate my own. So we're gonna go ahead and grate this whole block of cheddar. A little bit of a forearm workout. Next up for the veggie prep, we're gonna go ahead and dice an onion and we're gonna grate a few carrots. Obviously we're using broccoli for the broccoli and cheddar, but we also wanna add some onion and carrot to this, a little garlic, just a little additional flavor. They use carrots in most broccoli and cheddar soup recipes. I enjoy it, but if you hate carrots, obviously you can leave it out. It does add a little subtle sweetness, some extra veggies. And my grandma used to say that carrots are good for your eyes, but I still wear glasses, so I don't know how accurate that is. But you guys let me know in the comments. Go ahead and peel the onion, leave the root intact. Nice simple dice on the onion. And then we're gonna use the cheese grater for our carrots. Now, my friends, it's time for the broccoli. Here we have some fresh broccoli. You can use frozen for this recipe if you want to. You can get the stuff in the bag from the store, but this is usually a little bit cheaper, save you a buck or two. We're gonna go ahead and remove most of the stems, like the thick fibrous portions of the stems and any leaves that are attached to them. Basically anything you don't want in your soup. We're gonna go ahead and cut this broccoli down. Try to do it in the direction like this, unlike I just did, because it'll be a little less messy. But yeah, any super thick fibrous portions of the stem we're going to remove, and the rest of it should be good to go. Now, my friends, it's time to make some soup. First things first, half a stick of butter going in. We're going to go ahead and begin to melt that butter, and then we're going to add in our onions, a little flour to make a roux, which is going to help thicken up the sauce a bit, or the consistency of the soup, I should say. And then we're going to deglaze with our chicken broth and then add in the heavy cream. So 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of cream. You can use half and half if you want to cut back on the saturated fat a little bit. Even whole milk might ruin the consistency a little bit, so maybe make the roux a little thicker. All right, so in goes the onion. Give that a good mix. Allow the onion to start to tenderize a little bit, soften up. After the onion gets a head start, we're going to add our garlic. I like to add the red pepper flakes a little early. That way they have some time to kind of wake up a little bit, infuse their flavor. We got a fresh jar. In goes the red pepper flakes. Just a pinch. We don't want this to be spicy. Just a little background flavor. And then I'm going in with 2 teaspoons of Better Than Bouillon veggie base. You can use chicken base if you want to. But if you want to keep this kind of vegetarian, you can use vegetable stock and vegetable base. Get that in there. Big tablespoon of garlic. And then we're going in with the all-purpose flour. Again, that's going to make the roux. It's going to thicken things up for us. You want to cook that raw flour off a good 2 minutes or so. Just give it a mix until there's no white spots left. And just let that cook a bit. Then we're going to add that chicken broth, bring that up to a rapid boil, and then you'll notice immediately the consistency thickening up. All right, guys, so as you can see, we have a nice thick consistency here from that roux. Once it comes up to a boil, in goes 2 cups of heavy cream. And then you can add a little additional stock as needed, depending on how many servings you want to. You can get away with about 4 cups of stock for this recipe and still have what you're looking for. For extra creamy notes, you can add a little bit of cream cheese. Gives it kind of like that creamier consistency. We're not going to add that today, but it's an option for you out there if that's what you're into. Season to taste, a little bit of my all-purpose seasoning. If you haven't tried this yet, you can get that at MrMakeItHappen.shop. And then a pinch of chicken bouillon powder. All right, guys, once you get this where you want it, it's time to go ahead and add in the broccoli and the carrots. We're going to let that boil, or I guess simmer is probably a better word because we don't want it to rapidly boil. Just kind of simmer until the broccoli gets nice and tender. So, you know, the same thing for the carrots. We want both of those to be nice and tender. And then you can use an immersion blender to blend them up. If you want it, nice and smooth, totally up to you. But if you want a thicker consistency, you could, leave more broccoli florets whole. Pretty customizable. I like somewhere in between. I like to be able to see the broccoli and get some texture from the broccoli, but I don't want huge chunks. So I like to, blend up about 50 to 60% of mine. All right, guys, so you want to go ahead and cook the broccoli and the carrots until they get tender. It's going to take about 20 to 30 minutes until they're truly tender. You want to stir it occasionally. Make sure you scrape the bottom and the sides. Make sure nothing's sticking or burning. Once you do that, we're going to go ahead and use the immersion blender to blend this up. This step is optional. You can add this to a food processor or a stand blender and get the same effect if you don't own one of these. Or you can just let it be chunky like it is right now. All right, guys, so the next step to the situation, obviously, is to add the cheddar. So we're going to give this a mix. Slowly incorporate that cheddar until it's melted. You don't want this to be boiling hot. You want to let the residual heat melt the cheese. That way you don't get any crazy fat separation and end up with a super oily soup. So you're going to work over medium, low to low heat here. And just keep slowly incorporating your cheese. If you got some other cheeses you like, you can add that too. Cheddar is traditional, obviously, broccoli and cheddar. But if you want to throw something in there that you really like, then go right ahead. We're going to mix this in. Then it'll be time to plate this up. You can serve it with some crusty bread, some crackers, whatever floats your boat. Perfect for this cold weather we got right now. No cheese left behind. Give it a taste for seasoning. Obviously, always taste as you go. Adjust the flavor to your preference. And another quick reminder that all the specific measurements and ingredients for this recipe with step-by-step directions and photos can be found at MrMakeItHappen.com. All right, people, the soup is ready. It's time to plate this up. Grab yourself a bowl. We're going to top it with a little extra chunky broccoli just to make sure you know it's broccoli and cheddar. This is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, I found my spoon. It's time to dig in for the taste test. Real quick reminder, guys, all the specific measurements and ingredients for this recipe can be found at MrMakeItHappen.com. And without further ado, let's see what we got. It looks the part. It smells the part. Damn. That's good.